If Jaws scared the crap out of you as a kid, you're going to want to stick around for this one. In July of 1916, a severe heat wave has the coastlines of New Jersey, New York, and even Cape Cod pinned down. There's a polio epidemic going on as well, and that means that soldiers are on leave and kids are home from school, so the beaches are packed. All of these folks flee to the Atlantic looking for an escape, and they find something else instead. Newspapers coin a new headline: Man-Eater. The first incident happens outside of a beach resort on Long Island. Charles Van Sant, in his mid-20s, goes for a brief swim before dinner near the Ingleside Hotel. Bystanders hear shouting. Lifeguards would rush out and grab him, even though the water around them frothed red. His legs and parts of his torso had been shredded. He would pass away just minutes later in the hotel. A second attack happens 5 days later in Spring Lake. Charles Bruder, 27, a hotel bell captain on his off hours, decides to take a swim offshore. A nearby fishing boat rushes to his aid, but by the time they pull him onto the boat, he bleeds out within minutes. 6 days later, another incident would occur. Matawan is miles from the ocean. A couple of boys from town decide to cool off in the creek right near the mill. The boys see a dark shape in the water, and then all of a sudden, Lester Stillwell, 11, vanishes beneath the surface. Hearing the boys cry for help, a local shop clerk named Stanley Fisher, 24 at the time, decided to jump into the water to help him. He too is attacked by a dark shape in the water. Even though he manages to escape the beast's jaws, he would pass away from his wounds later on that day. Just a few minutes afterward, downstream, a teenager named Joseph Dunn, who was also trying to escape the heat that day in the creek, was seized. Friends and relatives managed to get him out of the water in time, and he survives. On July 14th, a taxidermist named Michael Schleiser and a friend would battle a 7.5-foot great white shark. Apparently, the fish had been attacking their skiff, and Schleiser took it out with a broken oar. When they brought the carcass back to shore, they found suspicious fleshy material and bone in its stomach. These materials were labeled as human remains. I personally find this a little bit dubious because suspicious fleshy remains and bones does not necessarily a human make. Many marine biologists and scientists disagree entirely with the idea that a great white shark did all of this by itself. Great whites don't really do brackish water, but bull sharks do. If you've ever spent any time in Florida, you know better than to go swimming in the intercoastals. This isn't to say that a great white couldn't have been involved, but it's highly unlikely that it was one great white lurking around and attacking multiple people in multiple places, especially up a brackish creek. What I think happened here is that a record heat wave and a polio epidemic pushed a lot of people onto the beach that would not have been there otherwise, spiking shark presence all over the area. We will probably never know if it was one shark or many. But maybe we should make this a lesson about swimming in brackish water or on overcrowded beaches. You never know what could be lurking just beneath the surface.